Hey y'all, it's Christy from Teadoddles, and today we're going to make a seatbelt cover. But before we do that, I'd like to say welcome new subscribers, welcome back subscribers. I'm happy to have you here with me in my maker shenanigans. I do like to do the sewing things, the yarny things, and the DIY things, so you might see a little bit of all of that here on this channel. If you like to make things, you might like it here. Alright y'all, I'm going to tell you a secret. This is my second attempt at this video, because I did my whole video, sewed it together. This is my pattern, y'all. I put my Velcro on the wrong side. And I realized I went ahead and got my old seatbelt cover. I was going to put my new one I had just made in there, and it's not going to work because I folded it the wrong way. Anyway, we're going to do it right this time. So what I have here is, this is like a minky, a little thinner kind of minky material. And I already sewed batting to my little cotton fabric here. It's just a little squiggly line stitch from my sewing machine. In the blog post, I sewed felt to this side, and then I put my cotton fabric on it. You can do it either way. It doesn't really matter. You just need to sew whatever you're putting inside, be it cotton batting or felt, to one side or the other. Okay. And you can use two cottons to make this. You can use two minkies to make this. I just like to have one side with the different textures and prints. So, and then I'm using I think this is 3/4 inch Velcro. You can use bigger Velcro, 1 inch. I wouldn't go too big with it, but it doesn't really matter because it's going to kind of overlap. So, and then I'm going to put me my little tag on it, because I'm going to put some of these in the shop. Although there will only be 2 like this now instead of 3, because I messed up the first one. Anyway, that happens sometimes, even as long as I've been sewing. But I did cut this from a fat quarter. So if you have a bunch of fat quarters laying around, you get 4 pieces from a fat quarter, because a fat quarter is 18 by 21 inches, and you can get 4 7 by 10 pieces, and then you'll have some leftovers as well, some nice pieces left over that can go in a quilt or what have you. So that is always a good thing. Now, since I already have my batting stitched down and trimmed, I'm just going to lay this on top, right sides facing together, and I'm going to go and I'm going to stitch around this 3/8 to 1/2 inch. Okay, you're going to leave about 1.5 inch, 2 inch. What's that? That's 2 inches right there. See, I like having this mat under here sometimes. Opening, you're going to back stitch at both openings, so you can turn it right side out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go do that over here on my machine, and I'll be right back. All right, I've got my little sandwich made together. I left my little opening here, which is where my tab will actually go, and I used a ribbon tab in the video. I mean, in the blog post. I'm just using my label in this video. I'll get it right in a minute. So I'm just gonna, my corners, what I do when I sew my corners, I go a back stitch right towards the end, and then I flip it around, and then I back stitch across there. That just reinforces the corner. I don't like pivoting on things like this that you're turning inside out. It tends to wear the corners out easier. So this just gives it a little more oomph to the corners. I'm gonna cut all those little dog ears off. Dog ears, no. And then we're gonna cut right into that little triangle point, just to make it turn a little bit easier. Just like that. Now, I'm just gonna put my fingers in there, and I usually try to grab one of the 4 corners to push it through. Just makes it a little bit easier. And something I didn't mention before, in my blog post, because I sewed the felt to the minky, I used a walking foot. This minky has a little bit of stretch to it, so you could use a knit foot or a walking foot. It just, if you've got anything that has a stretch to it, because some minkies do. That'll keep it from growing too much when you're sewing with it. It keeps everything even. Now you need to poke out those corners good. I have this thing it's called That Purple Thing. That's what it's called. I think it says it on there. I don't know if y'all can see that, but and this is 1/4 inch. This is really good when you really need to get in a corner that you want really crisp. These aren't going to be too crisp because it's got that bulky stuff, but this is like a little tiny finger that you can poke in there. I really like being able to use that to get in there because it's the perfect little size and it's a blunt end. Now you can still poke it through there if you poke it hard enough. So, but it works pretty good. All right, now what I've got to do, let's get the little pieces out of the way. I'm going to iron this. I'm going to hit it with the iron, get it nice and flat, and then I'm going to top stitch around right on the edge of that seam, just right there. See how that folds in? All the way around. Now when I go around the corners, I also don't pivot. I do a little diagonal stitch and then I come back. That just makes it work a little better. And I'll tuck this in before I sew over here. And what I'll also do, and you'll see it at the end, I'll do a little curved stitch here to make sure I catch this little opening and make sure everything's nice and secure. So I'm going to go do that right quick. I'm going to do the iron and the top stitching, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my top stitching all done and my little tag on here, and now it's time to put the Velcro on. So this folds like this. It looks really skinny, but in order for it to fit on a seatbelt, and it still slides up and down, but to get it to stay better, it needs to be like this. So we're going to put now you can run a piece of Velcro down this whole thing, but I find that if I put two about like this, that's a technical term, about like this. Let's put it on my measuring mat and you can see about where it's at. About 1 inch from the edge, we'll put it that way. I had some little clips, hold on. Hopefully I'm not shaking the camera, but there we go. I'll hold them right in place, just like so. And I'm gonna, oh, well, I gotta take them apart first. Take your Velcro apart before you stitch it down. Don't do that. All right, make sure you have, this is the loop side. This is the fuzzy side. I don't know what, that's just what I call it. I'm sure there's a technical side for it. Anyway, all right, we're gonna put it right here. I'm gonna clip it, and I will be sewing 1/8 of an inch around all the sides. And then the other ones will go here on this side. So what I like to do is I'll sew these down, and then I'll put this on here, kind of eyeball it so it lines up, and then stitch those down. Okay. Now, as I said, you could put one piece. It's gonna leave your ends a little floppy. If you use it for so long, it kind of lays there. It doesn't really do much. Mine will slide just because it's on the seat belt, you know. But when I'm wearing in my seat belt and I have it where I want it, it usually stays pretty well. So don't use sticky sided Velcro. This is just, I can't remember if I said it already in this video. This is sew-in Velcro. You cannot sew in sticky Velcro because it will gum up your needle and machine. Don't do it, because I've done it before. That's why I'm telling you. Don't do that. Sometimes you learn the hard way. And if you just use sticky back Velcro, it doesn't stay stuck to fabric very well, and eventually it will come off. So you definitely want the sew-in Velcro. Now, this is just a generic Velcro. I think I found this at the Dollar Tree, honestly. I can't remember. So you can get it at a fairly decent price. Real Velcro, like name brand Velcro, which is where we get, well, everybody calls it Velcro, kind of like Band-Aids. It may stick better. This this works pretty well to me. It's just hook and loop tape. So that's there's my discussion on Velcro. All right, I'm gonna go sew this on, and I'll be right back with a finished seatbelt cover. All right. Okay, I've got my seatbelt cover finished. This is one side. This is the other side. So this is, like I said before, this is reversible. The tag will just be on the inside. You put this on the outside, just like that. Now this does stick up a little bit, but like I said, usually you can put that in the front part. Y'all, I keep picking this up to show y'all how it fits on a seatbelt, and y'all can't see that. I don't know why I keep doing that. But it does help you get it off. If you want more Velcro, you can do it. You can put Velcro on there however you please. Really, just so long as there's some on one side and some on the other side on the other end. All right, and so if I want to do it this way, I can also do it this way. My tag will be on the outside. Now, something else. You'll notice I used black thread. So part of that was so that you would be able to see it. I don't think I showed y'all how I went up here just to extra secure that opening and the tab. You can sew on the seam if you want to. It's just a little bulkier, and it can give you some issues. That's why I don't do that around the whole thing. And what was I talking about? Oh, the black thread. I did that partly so you'd be able to see it. Now, it does make sense here. Now, if you really want the black thread not to show in your Velcro, if you have white Velcro, then you can change the top thread to white and leave it black on the back if you want it that way, or whatever color you want it to blend in. You can have two different colors since you're dealing with two different types of fabric if you want it to be that way. I didn't care, honestly, and I wanted y'all to be able to see the stitching. So, and the black I do like on this. So, and plus I'll be wearing this most likely this way. Oh, there goes my dog barking. Because I like the fuzzy against. I just like having that pretty color. If I want to turn it around or something, you know, I can do it. So, there we go. And I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning of this, that this is a pattern on my blog, which I'll have linked below. I think I forgot to do that because I had to redo this video. But if I said it in the beginning, I apologize, but I'm going to say it again. The link to my blog post is down below. This year I'll be revising some of my older blog posts. This was one of my first blog posts when I started a long time ago. I don't remember how many years ago. I had it way before I did YouTube. So I'm updating them, and I'm adding videos where I see a video might fit in. So this is the first one in that little thing I'm doing. I'll probably do about one of these a month. But I hope y'all enjoyed this little tutorial, and y'all remember to have a life lived creatively, and I'll see y'all in the next video.